Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Casey and I post a new video every single week on a lesser known missing person case that needs more attention. But today, May 25th of 2021 is National Missing Children's Day. So I wanted to do something a little different. Instead of just featuring one person, in today's video we are going to be highlighting 6 different cases of children that went missing in the United States. In the U.S. alone, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing every year. Nearly 90% are lost, have run away, or have just not told their guardians their plans for that day, and it's maybe a miscommunication. 9% are kidnapped by a family member in a custody dispute. 3% are abducted by non-family members, and often the perp is someone the child knows. According to the Polly Klaas Foundation website, around 100 children are kidnapped each year in the stranger abductions you hear about in the news, and about half of these 100 children are found. 99.8% of the children who go missing do come home, which is a great percentage, but I want to help get that other 0.2% home. As always, I mean absolutely no harm in doing these videos. I am simply trying to spread awareness and get these cases some more exposure. If you have any information on the whereabouts of any of the children I talk about today, I will have the contact information for authorities in the description box below for each individual case. Let's go ahead and get into it. Timothy Jacob Davison was 4 years old and living with his paternal aunt, Delaney Davison, on the 2100 block of North Charles Street in Decatur, Illinois. Timothy's parents lived in Winter Haven, Florida, and since they were going through a divorce, Timothy and his 2 brothers were being cared for by their aunt and had been living with her for about a year. On October 15th of 1985, Aunt Delaney took Timothy and 3 other children that were with her to the Kroger grocery store in the Brentwood Village Shopping Center on North Water Street. This was around noon, and Timothy fell asleep in the car, so she left him unattended in her unlocked red 1981 Dodge Omni, while she and the other children went inside to shop. They were in the shop for around 30 minutes, and when she returned to her car, Timothy was no longer in the vehicle. It is possible Timothy was seen getting into a black 2-door 1978 or 1979 Oldsmobile Cutlass with Indiana plates. Timothy's parents were looked into but were ruled out as suspects early on in the search as they were living in Florida on the day he vanished. Timothy was only 4 years old at the time, and he was behind in reaching his intellectual goals. He was a little slow and did not know his last name or his address. In 1987, a deaf and mute child was found wandering the streets of Juarez, Mexico, close to the U.S. border and El Paso, Texas. This boy was thought at first to be Timothy. He was the correct age and matched much of Timothy's physical description, and he too had problems with his speech. A footprint comparison proved he was not Timothy, however. In 2013, law enforcement dug in the yard where his aunt had lived when Timothy went missing. They were looking for any evidence connected to Timothy's disappearance, but if they found anything, it was not released. Timothy's case remains unsolved and is classified as a non-family abduction. He has not been seen since that day. Timothy has brown hair and brown eyes and went by the nickname TJ. He had a speech impediment and was missing his upper 2 front teeth at the time of his disappearance. He was 3 feet 4 inches tall and 40 pounds. He would now be 40 years old. He was last seen wearing a light blue windbreaker, blue jeans, white sneakers, and a black baseball cap. In 1987, Timothy's aunt, Cindy Smith, vanished from Winter Haven, Florida. Her disappearance also remains unsolved, and it's not believed that Timothy's case and hers are connected. Shamika Cozy was 16 years old and lived with her mother in Berkeley, Missouri. Just a few days after Christmas, on December 28th of 2009, Shamika went to her aunt's home on Napier Street to spend the night with her aunt and cousins. That night, she left the house and then came back inside multiple times. The family members last saw her around 1:30 a.m., but when they awoke the next morning around 8:30 a.m., she was gone. She was reported missing, and authorities did not find any signs of a break-in at the aunt's home, but the front door had been left unlocked. It was believed that Shamika had left the house willingly, but planned on coming back as she had left her bag of clothing and other personal items that she had brought with her. She did have a fake ID that she used to get into nightclubs, so they thought maybe that's what she had left to do. Since cops thought she had run away, they didn't really search for her. Years after Shamika went missing, her mother came upon a notebook of Shamika's that she used to write notes to friends during school. In one of the notes, Shamika wrote about a boyfriend she thought may have gotten her pregnant. She also indicated that the relationship had gone very badly. Her mother did turn the notebook over to the police, and the police interviewed the boy, but it didn't lead to anything. Investigators classified her case as an endangered runaway and state that she may still be in the area, but she is known to frequent the East St. Louis, Illinois area as well. At the time of her disappearance, Shamika was 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed around 160 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. She wears eyeglasses, her ears are pierced, and she goes by the nickname Mika. She was last seen wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and a tan Old Navy jacket. Shamika would now be 28. Natasha Marie Shanes was 6 years old and living with her mother, Susan Shanes, and her mother's live-in boyfriend, Robert F. Forbes, in Jackson, Michigan. Natasha was said to often cry and suffer from mood swings. She suffered with epilepsy, scoliosis, and a mild intellectual disability, which caused her to have the mental capacity of a 4-year-old. Because of this, she attended a special education school for children with learning disabilities. Natasha was last seen by her mother on the evening of May 7, 1985. Natasha was asleep on the sofa in the living room of her home. In the early morning hours of May 8th, Susan woke to the sound of a car door slamming, but thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. When she woke up again at 6 a.m., Natasha was gone. There were no signs of forced entry, but one of the home's doors leading outside was wide open. Susan called police to report her daughter missing, and authorities immediately began searching the immediate area. However, Natasha was never found. 2 days after Natasha went missing, her mother's boyfriend, Robert, was found dead from a gunshot wound. His death was ruled a suicide, but Susan believed he was murdered. His death is not believed to be connected to Natasha's disappearance. At the time of her disappearance, Natasha was 4 feet tall and weighed 57 pounds. She has light brown hair and brown eyes, and her ears were pierced. She has a strawberry birthmark on the back of her neck, just at the base of her hairline, a small scar on her forehead, and a dog bite on her cheek. She was last seen wearing a large blue and white shirt with a safety pin on it and either blue jeans or a denim skirt. She would be 42 years old today. "17-year-old Byron Eric Page, who went by his middle name Eric, was last seen at a bus stop at Overhill and Slauson Streets in Los Angeles, California. It was January 29th of 1992, and he was planning to make the 20-mile trip to West Hollywood, California, to visit a music warehouse and video store that he frequented often. Eric never made it home and has not been seen since. According to Eric's family, he was an excellent student with a perfect record. He was a National Merit semifinalist, and he had been accepted into several colleges. He was looking forward to getting his driver's license and was happy at home with no reason whatsoever to run away and disappear. Eric is one of the remaining missing persons featured in the music video for the song Runaway Train by Soul Asylum. Foul play is suspected in his case. Eric has black hair and brown eyes and stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and 160 pounds. He may have facial hair such as a mustache, beard, or a goatee. He was last seen wearing a blue and white jacket, black pants, and a blue baseball cap. He would now be 46 years old. "16-year-old April Suzanne Wiss was going through the typical stage of teenage rebellion. Since she did not want to obey her mother's rules or curfew, she had been living with a friend of her mother's at an apartment complex in the 500 block of Marion Road in Wichita, Kansas. On the evening of January 11th, 2000, April left the apartment around 10 or 10:30 p.m. with only her wallet, pager, and keys. She never returned and has not been seen since. April was scheduled to testify as a witness in a felony trial on January the 13th of 2000, just a few days after she disappeared. She wasn't happy about testifying, but knew it had to be done. She, of course, never made it to court, and authorities are unsure if her disappearance is connected to the trial. She was initially classified as a runaway, but the police have since said that the circumstances of her disappearance are unclear. She had left behind a freshly baked cake and $150 cash at the apartment. She took no belongings, clothing, nor any money with her. April is 6 feet tall and 165 pounds. She has sandy blonde hair and hazel eyes, though her hair was dyed dark brown at the time of her disappearance. She has 3 black dots tattooed on her right hand between the base of her thumb and wrist, and has several scars underneath her right pinky finger. She went by the nickname Squeaky and was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, a navy blue jacket with gray lining, flared jeans, and white tennis shoes. Today, she would be 37. Kimberly Fay Turner was a 16-year-old student at Scotland High School in Laurinburg, North Carolina. At 7 a.m. on April 29th of 2004, she was seen waiting for her bus on Stevens Circle in Laurinburg. A witness that had seen her at the bus stop also reported seeing an African-American man put his arm around Kim, and the two walked into the woods together. It was unclear to them if Kim had gone willingly or was made to go. Kim would not make it to class that day, and she did not return home at the end of the school day either. The sighting at the bus stop is the last time she was ever seen. She has been classified as a runaway, but due to how much time has passed with no contact with anyone, authorities are re-examining her case. At the time of her disappearance, she was 5 feet 5 inches tall and around 110 pounds. She is Native American with brown eyes and brown wavy hair past her shoulders. Her ears and tongue are both pierced, and she was last seen wearing faded Levi jeans, a black hooded jacket with a K on the front of it, and Timberland boots. She also often wore a silver herringbone necklace, a silver watch, and silver hoop earrings. Kimberly would now be 33. Please share the flyers of all of these missing children. As always, the links will be in the description box. Now, I realize most of them are adults now, but they could still be out there. They deserve to be found, and their loved ones deserve answers. I know I say that in every single video, but it's true. I just can't imagine going the rest of my life not knowing what happened to my loved one, and I just really hope that these families get that closure someday. If you haven't already, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button so I know these cases are being seen and so you don't miss when I upload each week. I would also highly suggest checking out my entire missing playlist, as each case I cover is super important and needs more exposure. I appreciate you all being here so very much, and I will see you next week.